What's your plan for the two New York teams?
I'll start with the Yankees because right now their need seems to be obvious, and that's in the outfield. Brian Cashman even addressed that earlier this week, and they have sort of a glut of infielders right now, whether you're talking about potentially moving Gleyber Torres out with 1 year to go before free agency or Oswald Peraza, who we've just gotten kind of a little bit of a feel for. If it were up to me, I'd be looking to move Gleyber. I think you can get more for him at this stage. I'd like to see a little bit more of Peraza. I don't know if the Yankees are going to be willing to do that, but I look at their infield right now. You got questions about Anthony Rizzo's health long term. DJ LeMahieu sort of now on the back nine of his career. You saw the youth step in with Anthony Volpe, Gold Glove at shortstop. Maybe give Peraza a shot at third, or if they're going to trade Gleyber, let him go at second. As far as the Mets go, pitching, I mean, Darryl hit on it. We knew from the moment they traded Scherzer and Verlander. So Yamamoto's the hot name. It's got to be depth, though, in the bullpen, because as good as Senga was in year one, I don't know that I'm ready to say, oh, yeah, he's my unquestioned number one ace, right? You got to see that a little bit more. Yeah. So whether it be via trade, free agency, I like Jordan Montgomery. Yankees cast him off. I could see him as like a middle to the back end of the rotation for a Mets and a good ad potentially for them.
And the obvious blockbuster, maybe Granderson, I don't know if he's talking about it, but it's Soto, if they could go get him. I just don't think the Yankees are going to do it because I don't think they want to give up the prospect capital when they know he's a year away from free agency and they could just spend the money. So I think it's more likely they go get Bellinger because he seems to be such a great fit as a left-handed hitter, center field, can play all over the place. I think they do that, and if they do that, I know they're supposed to be in on Yamamoto, but I don't think they can do both. So I don't think Hal's taking on all these big contracts, no matter what they might be saying. So I don't think they're going there. I think the Mets get Yamamoto, as you just talked about. And I think the other big move for them could be maybe a trade for Corbin Burns. You're talking about a blockbuster. He's a big-time pitcher. He won the Cy Young for the Brewers. You know, there's stories out now. Ken Rosenthal reporting the Brewers are going to be breaking it down now because they might have to go into a rebuild. So the Mets have all these prospects, these position player prospects. You know, at some point you need to turn that into pitching because you still don't have enough pitching coming in your system. That would be a way to do it. That would be you add Burns and Yamamoto to that Mets rotation. I think they still need a slugger, as Darryl said, but you know, if it's not Ohtani, I'm not sure where it's coming from.
Yeah, pitching is the main priority. Both guys played for both the Mets and the Yankees in their careers and are uniquely connected to the city, particularly Darryl Strawberry. Here's what he had to say about playing in New York.
My career is New York City. Most of my history is there, and to be able to play in New York and understand, you know, the fans and the media, and to be able to excel, I think, more than anything, and not let the outside noise get to you, because New York is a very challenging place, but it is the greatest place to play. So it's such a great honor to, you know, be here, to be a part of this night, and what New York means to me will always stand forever.
Harp, so you covered Straw. What did he mean to the city?
Oh, man, he was so great to cover, too. We were telling stories in the newsroom about him because he always made news, for one thing, good or bad. You never knew what he was going to say, especially when he was younger. But, you know, he was the homegrown kid, the #1 pick in the draft, came up the first building block for those 80s teams. And Mets fans loved him. They loved those type of guys. He had unbelievability. He didn't want to miss any at bat because he never knew how far he might hit the ball. I was there in Montreal when he hit the roof up there. That's the most outrageous home run I've ever seen. So he could do it all, but then, you know, he got into the drugs. That was part of the problem. He knows he never should have left New York and gone to L.A. Part of it was his fault. Part of it was Cashin didn't want to pay him. But he always was a lightning rod. I mean, people either loved or hated him, and Mets fans, for the most part, loved him, but they thought he could have done more, and it's true. He'll tell you he could have done more.
Yeah, it's a bit of a cautionary tale a little bit, right, of what could have been. And, I mean, that's some of my earliest, granted, faint memories when I was just a couple of years old watching those late 80s Mets and loving to watch Darryl Strawberry and Dwight Gooden. So from that standpoint, in the front end with the Mets, and then kind of back nine, you know, coming full circle, his time with the Yankees, where it was more of a, you know, role player, bit part, but came up with some
became
big
a good guy there.
moments for them.
Became the beloved veteran.
Exactly,
there.
Right, the big brother and, you know, kind of, you know, clubhouse guy, sticking up for guys, the famous brawl with Armando Benitez and the Orioles. So on the back end, on the way out, getting to that other New York team and helping the Yankees during that championship run, kind of a nice way to, you know, put the cherry on top for Darryl in his time here in New York.
Yeah, I got to meet him during Yankees Old Timers Day this past season. Such a great guy and a big personality. Definitely an unforgettable player.